Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're just going through pretty quickly the January Paragon Gauntlet and just kind of giving you some options as well. So this is the team that I'm bringing with me. So for the Shocker fight, just so you know kind of before you're getting into it, he has a higher likelihood of auto-blocking basic attacks. I think it's 50% or 60. So basically during a combo, there's a really solid chance he's going to auto-block you. So what you're wanting to do is bring a champion with either Undermine in their abilities or someone that just goes unblockable. So that's why I went with Adam Warlock, because I can also control kind of when Shocker's going to throw special attacks. You don't want to use your special 2 when he's got his special 1, because then he might stun you with it, even in the pod. You can get that special 1 to punish. You just got to kind of watch out. He can be quick with it, you know. But Adam Warlock just hits pretty hard and get through it pretty quick. But I would say someone who has Unblockable in their kit will get you through just fine without having to worry about the auto block. And it's going to help you out actually in a later fight as well. And so down goes Shocker, pretty darn quick. Moving on to Namor. So Namor's whole thing here is he's not going to take any damage unless he has 3 or more debuffs. And they can be of the same type. So that's kind of the important part. So that's why we're using Cosmic Ghost Rider here, because on the special 2, you definitely apply more than 3 armor break debuffs, in which case he'll begin to take damage. The other parts of this is that every few seconds, every 5 to 8 seconds, I can't remember, he's going to get an unblockable, but there is that timer, and you get rooted during his special attack. So I will say the special 2 is probably the easier one to dex. The special one just has a lot of the water animations in it. Kind of gets a bit distracting. But that's pretty much the fight for Namor. You got to apply at least 3 or more debuffs to do damage, rooted during special attacks, and he goes unblockable every so often, so definitely something to watch out for. Otherwise, goes down pretty easily. And there is Namor. Moving on now. So again, try not to change out your champions if you want to meet the objective. You can just do the skip choice. Moving on to Shuri. Shuri's got a similar thing to Shocker, where she's going to auto block a bit more often. And so you can actually use... Sorry, she's going to auto block more often, but if you knock her down, that disables the auto block. Or you can just use someone who's unblockable like Adam Warlock or has unblockable abilities, and you'll be just fine. There's also a shock timer, and that's for making contact with the opponent. You don't actually have to have a successful hit. So if you do hit her block, you can just reset that shock timer. You can, like I was mentioning, you can use Cosmic Ghost Rider here, because if you bait out a heavy attack from her, your heavy attack can reach. So that's going to get you the knockdown you need. And then she won't go unblockable. Hopefully for the rest of the fight, you've got to kind of keep aggressive to avoid that. But I want to use Cosmic Ghost Rider for another fight, so that's why I'm using Adam Warlock here, though both work perfectly fine. Some other options, again, people with Undermine, so Vox could likely do this as well. Unblockable abilities, or I would say heavy attacks that reach further, because then you can just punish her heavy attack with yours, and then you'll be good to go for the rest of the fight. That'll do it for Shuri. So we're moving on next to Killmonger, and this is the fight I was saving Cosmic Ghost Rider for. He's literally perfect for this fight. So Killmonger's bleeds are more effective, but Cosmic Ghost Rider is immune. Your armor break debuffs will have a greater potency, and if you don't have an armor break on Killmonger, you're going to do less damage just as a whole. So that's something to keep in mind. You do want a champion with armor break, whoever that is. And then you've also got to work around the unstoppables that he'll gain. And so Cosmic Ghost Rider really works super well for this fight. But again, the only requirement is a bleed immune for safety. If you don't need that safety, then the only requirement is that you have a champion that inflicts armor breaks. And there's plenty of champions that do that. You do also have to watch out for the falter if you parry too often. That's kind of why I brought Cosmic Ghost Rider 2. He gains vigilance, and so you can bypass that as well. But it's really the armor breaks that you're going for. So, I mean, the new Deathless Thanos has armor breaks, Silver Surfer has armor breaks, plenty of champions can cause armor break. Iron Man causes armor breaks. And so if you're not afraid of getting hit and getting major bleed damage, then the armor breaks is pretty much the way to go. And you'll work out this fight just fine. Some people kind of struggle with the dexes on here. It's almost like he does it from further away. That's something to consider. So, like, right, you know, it's kind of like the medium distance, which is really interesting, as opposed to, like, right in front of your face, like most champions would throw. Now we're moving on to the two new champions, who I think both look really great, by the way. Gentle and Okoye both look really good. So with these particular fights, both of them can be done with Absorbing Man, and it works really, really great, right? So you do also need a bleed immune champion for at least Gentle. So that's just part of the nodes, is every few seconds you'll get a bleed debuff. So using the Uru form, you don't have to worry about the bleeds, and you can also get free pauses, basically. Otherwise, after every single special attack, as you can see, Gentle gets Unstoppable and Evade. But being Absorbing Man, that Unstoppable at least wears off 90% faster. And the Evade honestly doesn't last too long either. You can see it's only like 2 to 3 seconds. But otherwise, it's just really, really safe playing with Absorbing Man. Plus, you can get your Morph Charges to regain your health and such like that. Every so often, too, Gentle will get like a passive Unstoppable. There's nothing that can be done about that, because obviously passive effects aren't affected by other things, you know? That's kind of the idea of a passive effect. So that's pretty much the only thing you have to watch out for. And actually, Mystic Dispersion can sometimes be your enemy here. As you can see, I pushed myself to a special 2, unfortunately. So right here, I'm just trying to get back to a special 1 as quick as I can so that I can get that bleed immunity back, even if that costs me a couple hits. Because you can see, like, with the high crit resistance, it's really not too bad. The fight does move a little slow, I guess. But again, it's kind of nice that he can do both. So in these Paragon Gauntlets, you don't got to think about just the best counter for a specific fight, but hopefully a good enough counter for at least a couple fights, right? Because you only get to bring 3 champions, so you'd like that they can do 2 or 3, right? And so that's the whole design of this. There's that passive Unstoppable again. Something to watch out for. Otherwise, we'll just go ahead and let this one finish out. If something else comes up, he does gain Prowess, but the specials are really easy to dex, to be honest with you. So on defense, I don't think Gentle is going to be much of a powerhouse. I think, obviously, as part of his design, he's meant to be a bullseye counter. I find it really funny that they straight up said that in his kit, or like in the, it's on the forums page, or, you know, where it kind of introduces the champions. It literally has a bullet point where it says bullseye counter. It's just so funny. It just tells you how broken some of these defenders are, that's like a new selling point, that, you know, oh, we've got a bullseye counter, because you'll probably see it. I wonder if some of the others said like serpent counter or whatever it is, you know. This is kind of a funny thing. It really just means that you probably should have fixed those defenders when their rebalance came up. But, you know, I guess those champions are perfectly balanced. No big deal. And this is the finish on Gentle. Now, the Okoye fight is actually a ton of fun for Absorbing Man because he's immune to both bleed and shock in case you ever do get hit. Pauses your Black Uru form really easily. And more importantly, the nodes require that you intercept Okoye a lot, and that's going to pause her combo meter gain, because every couple seconds her combo meter will just increase. And if it increases enough, then you'll get rooted. And then, you know, obviously then she's coming in after you. The only other thing is if you use basic attacks, like the same basic attack twice in a row, then she'll go unblockable for a short period of time. So if you want to avoid that, just do light, medium combos. So, you know, you get 4-hit combos in, and then, you know, as long as you start with that light attack, you'll be fine. But honestly, again, with Absorbing Man, because he can reduce the unblockable duration by 90%, it's really not a big deal. So he's perfect for it. Her specials as well are also quite easy to dex, so I think both of these champions are looking like solid attackers. That's kind of their whole thing. This fight is just a ton of fun. Because like I said, you gotta remember to intercept, which is a part of Absorbing Man's kit, where you would like to intercept. So, take those risks, do it more often. And she's quite aggressive here too, so makes it pretty darn easy. And as you can see, she goes down pretty quickly. But again, both of these champions are definitely attackers. So, they're not really strong defenders, period. So not too much to worry about here. But that's going to be it, guys, for the Paragon Gauntlet. If you've got any questions on matchups or champions you'd like to use, let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to get back to you. And please like and subscribe if this is helping you guys out. Channel's growing, which I'm really excited for, and hoping that I can help out as many players as possible. But best of luck in the battle realm, my friends.